One.
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Morning, everyone.
Joe here.
Kevin.
So we're kind of in the middle of an incredible run of The West Wing. End of season 2 into season 3 has been perfect so far, really.
Yeah, it really has. I was worried about a letdown because how could you not after the
No,
finale on
sure. Yeah,
season two? But sorry, hiccups. Taking things down a notch
Mhm.
doesn't necessarily mean the quality drops off, right?
no.
We had a peak moment at the end of season 2, but season 3 we're rolling right into really great television
Yeah,
still.
I don't
Really
think
good storytelling. Yeah,
quality has really dipped. As far as
no,
taking things down a notch, maybe a little bit, but they're in campaign mode now.
yeah, it's pretty exciting. It's still a very
Yeah,
it's been an exciting show since
it's
the
different.
first episode. Um, Man, the skills that it takes as far as a writer and a production team and a cast to have a show this exciting that is nothing but political talking.
At the end of the day,
Which
I
is what
wonder
it is,
how
right?
many writers they actually have, because if one man is doing this, there's just no way.
Well, I think the bulk of the script, the
Mhm.
dialogue is written by
The
Aaron
story,
Sorkin, but there's no way that there's not a ton of help there, right?
yeah,
As
it's
far
got to
as
be.
research, and that kind of stuff. So I feel like, yeah, when the episode says it was written by Aaron Sorkin, we're really kind of talking about dialogue,
Sure.
and not necessarily, the actual story structured.
And I wonder if there's a set story for this season. You know what I mean? Like they knew where they were going
Oh, for sure,
because in
right?
season 1 we talk about all the time about how the MS thing was
Sure,
kind of just included, and then
right.
season 2 was the follow through of that. So I want to see what this season looks like if the campaign is finished in this season, or if we get a little spillover into season 4 as well.
I would guess that it's over. Maybe that's kind of the cliffhanger at the end of the season. I
Mhm.
don't know. Um, but I would say, as far as like the planning goes, I'm sure there are like overall, big ideas that are planned,
Sure.
followed through. I don't think there was any illusion that Bartlett wasn't going to run again, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Mhm.
That he's going to probably win based on the length of the show and all of
Yeah.
that. But like the decision to write Moira Kelly off the show after season 1, that probably wasn't
No.
planned
Probably
because
not.
she just vanished.
Yeah.
They cousin Olivered her, and she just
Cousin Oliver.
disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, like we said, the show has not been worse off for it. If
Yeah.
anything, that the show has improved.
No, yeah, they've crushed it. It's been getting better.
And I do want to see where we are headed. A lot of you guys on Patreon were saying you can't wait for us to see who Miss Landingham's replacement is.
Yeah, I saw a couple of those on YouTube as well. So I mean, it became clear that we're heading for one, right? Like things are getting missed.
Yeah.
And Charlie's like, so when are you going to hire that new executive secretary?
It feels like they're closing the door on that here pretty soon because
Sure.
you had that nice moment of Bartlett finding the pens the last episode.
Well, I assumed that they were going to bring in one of the other secretaries that's already been on the show. I'd move it, you know what I mean? I would think in the real world, it's like,
Promotion.
yeah, exactly. I would think in the real world, it'd be like, you know what, Donna or Margaret, one of those guys is a Carol, one of those people is a killer. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
bring him on over,
Well,
promote him.
it goes to
But
show how important everybody is to their respective
sure,
not buddy, but person they're buddied up with, like Donna and Josh,
yeah. Well,
Margaret and Leo. You know,
well, it sounds like every one of them hired their own assistant.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like, yeah, Donna works for Josh. She doesn't really work for like the administration.
Mhm.
She's Josh.
Yeah.
She is someone Josh hired to
Sure.
fill his stats. It's Josh's staff.
Yeah,
But at the same time, the president said, "Hey, Josh, I kind of need Donna to be my new secretary." He's not gonna be like, "No, screw you, man." It's gonna be like, "Yes, sir.
yeah. Donna's my
Guess I'm going hunting for a new assistant." Yeah.
right. Yeah.
We do want to look at some new Patreon subscribers for the weekend. Sorry, Cody, Doug AM, Half Cadence, Shan, Sukumar Mehta, Just Rush Once, Saul Siegman, Shane Martin, Chloe Grover, and Noam Goldutting. Thanks so much, guys, and welcome. We really appreciate being here with us. Thank you.
We sure do. And if you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, words today, sorry, welcome to our channel.
Hi,
If you
guys.
don't mind hitting the like button for us, leave us a comment down below, and please, please, please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the new content we have coming your way.
Yeah, and if you'd like to see a full reaction to this and everything else we watched or are watching, including 2+ seasons of The West Wing,
Mhm.
please check out a link in the description below to our Patreon page. You'll have to bring your own copy to sync and watch along with us.
Mhm.
We're watching on Max. It's a really good way to go.
Is
All right. Is this the bill that he's going to veto? Or is this subpoenas?
And you tell him the clerk of the House has delivered a bill. Then you bring it to the president for his signature or veto.
Oh, it is the bill. It's the bill.
You
It's
called
going
it.
to be, the end of the estate tax.
Mhm.
Do you know when you're bringing Buckland back here?
I was gonna do it before the entree.
You should do it after the entree. Can we talk sometime tonight? Maybe after the cheese course? Yes.
Is it about the
It's
guy
here.
she went on a
Mhm.
date with?
Call around. It's here?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Ah.
I'll meet you over there.
CJ looks great tonight, doesn't she?
Totally.
As always.
Yeah, it's here.
You just sent the bill up 5 minutes ago. They know you're going to veto. Why schedule an override vote right now?
So I'd think twice about vetoing.
And if they override the veto, it's neither strong nor resolute.
They don't have the votes to override.
Says you. I've been seated next to a chemist tonight.
Mullis?
23 Nobel Prize winners in the East Room. I couldn't get literature or, I don't know, peace or something? You speak in combinations of letters that don't spell anything but end up meaning table salt.
Mr. President? Is it here? What do you got in the box, Mr. Dolan?
Mr. President, I have House Resolution 10, the Death Tax Elimination Act.
If the House successfully overrides the veto, we're gonna look weak.
If the House successfully overrides the veto, we are weak.
We call it a tax
exactly.
on fewer than 2% of American estates valued at over $1 million. Fund frivolous democratic spending programs such as teaching people to read and curing disease. Yeah,
Can you tell us what you're wearing?
it's a dress.
CJ.
Diane Cook.
a
Anything
dress.
else?
What do they think?
They think they must be down. How did we lose votes since yesterday? We need the whip count.
The old whip count doesn't do us any good. We need a new one.
That's going to take a while. The committee's going to offer you the chance to give a proffer.
Look,
I know they are.
I'm not allowed to talk about it.
I don't think it's Newhouse. I don't think it's Kimball.
It's Kimball.
I'm telling you, if it was Kimball, we'd have 6
He's on the
congressmen.
phone right now.
Congressman, this is Leo McGarry. Please come to the White House right away.
I'm right here. Where do you think that...
My ties.
I wonder what this guy's deal's going to be.
Yeah, I know.
I love the
It's not
estate
gonna be-
tax.
he's not
Or
gonna
I
be
hate the
Tom
estate
Jones
tax.
tonight.
Yeah.
You're going to have to give away something, but don't give away this store.
Seems like every time they have it like a dinner.
in Ben Yehuda in Jerusalem.
How bad is it?
10 people were killed right away.
Excuse me.
Leo, 2 of the dead were American students. We think they may have been
Oh,
targeted.
Busy night. Wow.
Margaret, I'll
tough
be in the
night, yeah.
situation room.
See, has the state issued travel warnings since Becca?
They were there for a soccer match.
And the Americans were targeted?
They think they found traces of C4,
You think there's an Afghan connection?
or even Iran. We'll know more when the FBI attaché gives a forensic analysis. They were brothers.
What were they doing there?
A soccer match.
Can we say whether or not we think they were intentional targets?
Not yet, and we can't release their names.
Governor.
Judge, good to see you.
Sorry to interrupt dinner.
I'm fine.
Recognize him.
Yeah.
Thanks, Don.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse is right. You see anything? I didn't see anything.
You want to see a study that says that if we hadn't passed the Clean Air Act, about 2 million more people would have suffered from heart disease? $400 billion worldwide market in creating technologies that are environmentally safe.
You think a 55-year-old steel worker's gonna get a job building hybrid engines?
Jack, you gonna challenge the president in the primary?
Yep, there you go.
Let's have that drink.
I've got some things I'd like to talk about, and I feel I'm in a fairly strong negotiating position.
What?
How is it that the United States government, supported by the citizens of Dallas, knows less than CNN, AP, and Israeli TV?
That the 1974 Privacy Act precludes me from discussing those details until the family gives its consent.
A denunciation of violence. I want to see security cooperation with the Israelis.
Maybe we can get Israel to hold their fire tonight.
Remember when Trump said that Jared Kushner was going to fix the Middle East?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Those were fun days.
Seems like it was 10 years ago, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The president waits a year before he tries to raise the fees.
1 year. Go vote.
I've got more.
Really?
A GAO review of the deficiencies in the Freedom to Farm Act.
I need Josh.
He's still in with it.
Tell him we're going to need more time.
Yeah.
Tell him to call the minority leader's office. Tell him we need to stage an exhibition.
Well, you know how that works?
Well, if it isn't a serious challenge, what are you doing in this room?
We don't like your health. It makes people think the president's got a campaign in an oxygen tent.
Yeah, remember we said that that's
Yeah.
one of the issues. The Republicans were going to run somebody who was really
Yep,
fit.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like I need to be listened to.
Keyhole sees 12 Israeli F-15s on the tarmac at Hatzerim Air Base.
What are they armed with?
8 aim sidewinders.
The chance it's a training exercise?
It's always a training exercise. The agency indicates that the bomber had ties to Abdul Mujib.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not clear the extent to which CJ's in the loop on this. I can tell
Oh,
she's
no.
changed her clothes several times throughout the evening. CJ Craig's known to be a bit of a clothes horse, and perhaps she's missed some information during one of her wardrobe changes.
Oh my God, CJ's gonna rip her apart, isn't
Oh,
she?
yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out she did know what she was doing.
You want me to take care
There
of
you
it?
go.
I'll take care of it.
We've given him a one-year moratorium on grazing fee support for an increase in the production flexibility contracts.
How's Buckland?
He wants a seat at the table, that's for sure.
Too.
Bill Russell was getting eaten alive because they could never get him to throw an elbow. Throw an elbow in a nationally televised game, you'll never have to do it again.
Let's offer it to him.
Offer to who?
Republicans. Royce.
Make the deal that the Democrat guy wants to the Republicans and get them to switch instead.
Yep.
Tell the Democrats not to mess with you. It's the elbow. That's great.
Such as excess dosages of...
No. Well, I wouldn't be so quick to say no.
I think I will.
Now this really needs to work.
How old were they?
19 and 21. They
It's
were
terrible.
brothers. You speak to Zoe today? I want her to call every day.
All right.
Concerned parents.
Yeah.
I think you get on the phone. I think you tell him to hand Abdul Mujib over to the Israelis.
And you think handing him over puts the pin back in the grenade?
For a day.
President Hoynes is like
Term
the
limit,
same
Yeah.
man.
Josh. And I still have things I want to say.
If I could convince Leo to put you on the short list, you think you could say what you want to say? I think you'd make an interesting nominee for labor secretary.
And this is the exact same deal you were offering to Kimball.
Yes?
And he was ready to take it.
Yes.
The idea of repealing the estate tax makes me embarrassed to be a Republican. A tax break for billionaires? Of course this thing should be vetoed. Don't target me for defeat. I'm vulnerable in my district. Throw in the milk thing.
Go vote, Congressman.
I love watching them just make deals.
Yeah.
It's them sitting in quiet, top-lit rooms,
Right.
and it feels so dire. You know, it really does.
Yeah. And it was a reasonable, moderate Republican that
Yeah.
saved the day.
Yeah,
I like that.
it's noble.
my team.
It's very admirable. It really is.
People should stop trying to get me not to do that.
Palestinian police arrested Mujib at his residence in Gaza.
I was fixed up on a blind date a few nights ago.
Okay. So it was about the guy.
A few nights ago.
You can't see him anymore.
I know that.
It was just that night?
Yeah. No.
Sherry, can you tell us how many votes it takes to override a veto?
I'm sorry?
How many votes does it take to override, Sherry?
A majority.
Actually, it takes 2/3.
Yes.
How many people sit in the House of Representatives, Sherry?
435.
That was totally uncalled for.
Yeah?
My competitors are going to show that to... Look,
I changed my clothes because I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about the death of 2 teenagers while wearing a ball gown, and you knew that because you're stupid, but you're not stupid. You know what I'm saying? Hunting season on me is over.
Nice.
We say on behalf of Abby and myself, please accept our deepest condolences.
Ah, the phone
Your son's
calls.
lives
Yeah.
were not lost in vain.
I would not know how to do one of these calls.
No, absolutely not. I'm trying to make meaning out of this meaningless
Right.
act. Yeah.
But besides, I am so sorry. I don't know what else to say.
No. Obviously very
You
different.
can't ask
Right.
forgiveness of God until you've asked forgiveness of people on the day before. I have 3 children. I really don't know what to say.
That's I like that. I don't know what to say.
Relate to them.
You tell them the truth. There are no words.
There, what can you say? It's an act of senseless evil.
Yeah, your kids are gone, and nothing I'm going to say is going to fix that or make that better.
I like that. Okay, well, I don't like that happens, obviously, but we've had many episodes where it's ended with him making a phone call,
right?
And I like that they always save that for the end of the episode because it does remind you that they're all
such
human.
right. It's such a big deal.
Yeah.
This was a really good episode for kind of another like how the sausage is made episode.
I was kind of thinking that
we started with the veto process and how a bill gets taken from. God, I've never thought about it. Right, like Congress passes a bill, the president signs it or vetoes it, but there's an actual formal process for how the actual bill itself goes from Congress to the White House for the president's signature or veto.
Because you learned about that pretty early on. when I think about that in my head, I don't know what I think about, but it's definitely not this.
I thought it was just like, I don't know, pile of papers on his desk. Yeah, exactly. He's signing stuff all the time.
So this episode really wasn't a big reactionary episode. I mean,
right.
It was more expository.
Yeah.
Which you do need. You need that.
For sure.
I mean, this is the beginning of the season, so you're going to have these episodes that are like really like, laying the groundwork for where we're going. We still have not seen the Republican challenger.
We haven't seen the Republican challenger. We got a lot this episode of seeing that with friends like these, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
We saw a lot of Democrats being a problem for the White House before we even get to the Republican problems.
And so far, like we mentioned this briefly, the Republicans we have seen have been like gracious and actually.
Yeah, the guy that went ahead and took the bills, like, I just don't want to lose my reelection. Keep your gifts.
I agree to them.
Yeah, he's like,
I was like, all right, I see
you pander to the extremes, and no one can. Yeah, and we can't get anything done because of that.
And the guy that Don is seeing, I forget his name. I'm sure he's going to come back eventually. But
what was his name? Again, I've seen the actor in many things, but I don't remember the character's name.
Didn't hate him. I mean, I liked why. I mean, I respect. We're not Republican, but I respect his reasoning for being one. And he seemed like a nice guy.
Yeah, small government was his.
Yeah,
big
exactly.
Thing. I mean, we can agree and disagree on that, whatever. But you're right; it wasn't extreme stuff. Why? Yeah. Because I hate gay people. It wasn't anything. Of the stuff that we see a lot of crap today.
He had his reasons, and they made sense to him.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't malicious. They weren't malicious reasons, which often came. I mean, when you see someone like a Lauren Boebert or a Marjorie Taylor Greene, it's like, why are you in Congress? Because I'm a great Twitter troll. It's like, shut up. So it's nice to be getting something other than that here. I like the reminder that just because you disagree with someone politically doesn't make them the devil. And vice versa.
The show's also it's romanticizing government and.
Absolutely.
What it can be and what it should be,
Well, I mean, obviously our politics have gotten a lot uglier in 20 whatever years since the show aired, which is why I think there's so much nostalgia for the show. It's why I like watching the show. It's like, man, can we have these kind of times politically where people are actually reasonable?
It makes me feel old because I remember the show being on TV. I never watched it because I was far too young.
Sure.
It would just go right over my head. But to say that this is now a classic. Well, to say that this is now old-fashioned is kind of weird,
Well, I mean, if you look at it now versus then, this was a network show.
Yeah,
this is not. It's a show that doesn't have a lot of guns, a lot of explosions. It's not pandered. It is an intelligent show on network, which I'm not trying to sound overly critical, but our network shows now are geared towards wide audience, largely an older audience, because they're not the ones who are streaming and stuff, right? So you have these like NCIS and CSI and law and cop shows that are there for older viewers, right?
They're exciting shows,
right? And they're very milquetoast because you have to capture as big as audience as possible for advertising dollars.
Yeah.
And this show was living during that time, but didn't pander at all, which is kind of amazing to me.
It's timeless.
Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. You got to give them a lot of credit for that.
You're right.
It feels more like an HBO show, right?
It really does.
Or a streaming show than the network show.
And you don't get a lot of expository episodes like this on TV now because this was all just like sit down, listen, take this in. So you can really see where this is going.
Trust the audience to pay attention to what's going on, what people are saying.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we're hooked. We don't have to say
it's fantastic.
But just in terms of episodes going, I mean, this is probably like one of the least rewatchable ones.
Sure.
But I like that they build up towards something. Where do you think they're headed in the next episode?
Well, I think they build one. We've got the idea that the veto's going to be overridden, but we are getting closer and closer to hearings, subpoenas with Bartlett's MS cases that are going to be in front of Congress for sure, right? Because we got reminded of that with Charlie, right, all the way through the episode. That's the purpose Charlie served. And I think more importantly, with all of this stuff that's boiling, we got an awful lot of everything else. The reminder that there are still things going on in the world that need their attention beyond. Is President Bartlett going to be able to overcome these issues that are kind of self-inflicted and mount a successful presidential campaign? He's still got to govern, right? We still have hot button issues in the world and in the country that need to be dealt with.
And I think we addressed that in either episode 1 or 2 of the season, where it's not going to be just all campaigning.
Right.
You're not on the campaign trail. It's not going to be all hearings. You're going to have episodes that are
right. We started
about the day-to-day life.
Right. We started with Haiti, right?
Yeah.
We're not going to have like one overarching theme for the entire season. We can call this the re-election season or the campaign season, right? Season 3. Looks like we're going that way. But there's also still clearly going to be plenty of other stuff going on.
And I'm glad. A lesser show would just be the campaign. It would just be the hearings. It would focus on one of these things, and it would just completely ignore the other. And I liked it with 22, 23 episodes a season. You can really get into all of that,
Yeah. By the way, could you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you take a picture of her and put that on Patreon right now?
This whole time, I've been thinking about this.
This cat, I'm sorry, the cat is in between us, flopped out here, my cat, and she looks pretty adorable.
The whole time we've been watching the show, if we're looking down, it's because
this cat is like laying down and like napping and doing spins right next to us. Sorry, guys. It's
the most precious thing.
It is a very adorable look. So if you're on Patreon, you'll be able to see this picture later.
I'm going to post it on Patreon. Yeah, you can't really see right there, but I will show you on Patreon, guys.
But no, I like the direction of the show this season. It's still brilliant. The cast is still completely game. This is a good episode for CJ to again. The last 2 episodes have been like, don't forget who CJ is episodes,
I was thinking that too. It's been very big, very CJ heavy.
Yeah, the whole season has. Yeah,
it has been. And you said earlier, are we going to get Tough Toby? And I was like, I hope so. We haven't really seen Tough Toby. Because Richard Schiff kind of has taken the backseat a little bit.
Yeah.
Every time we've seen him, he's been a little softer, a little warmer. And season 2, I think we said he was full Batman mode.
Right.
Maybe,
and it felt like that's kind of a conscious decision, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like when he said like, if Donna takes it as well as everyone else, if everyone else took it as well as Donna did the news, we'll be in good shape. And he was talking about himself. So I think that might be like he's being a little more conscious of how reactionary he can be.
Yes.
Because he is a stubborn guy. I love him, but he's a stubborn guy. So maybe we're going to get a little more chill Toby this season.
Well, he's realized
as much as he can.
He has to be more of a team player.
Sure.
He's got to be focused on the team this time around because it's not like
things are going to be tough, right?
Because they're really not on. They're on top,
right?
But they're against the ropes right now. They really are.
Even he just said it in this episode.
Yeah,
you had a president against the ropes.
So it's truly a complex show where I don't think I've seen anything like this, really.
Wow, this is fantastic. They keep it very exciting and very tense for a talk-heavy show.
And I feel like I learned something every episode.
For sure. All right, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.